some sunshine, some Easter vibes, some sightseeing, some good wine, some good meat, and networking and going to fancy shopping malls, eating some fancy foods. South Africa is all of that and more. And did I also mention that it's culturally rich? So, you mingle and you network for a good purpose. That's what South Africa is offering this Easter. Pure Easter vibes. Get ready for unforgettable experiences from sun-soaked beaches to lively markets with breathtaking views and a culture that celebrates life. There's so much to enjoy and to do in the SA. So why wait? Join South Africa this season and create memories that will last a lifetime. Head to southafrica.net for fantastic festive offers. It's not too late. SA, you don't even need a visa. All right? All you need is some little money in your pocket and you're good to go. So go on their website and take advantage of any of the offers there that fits your pockets. Okay? Easy peasy. Once again, it's southafrica.net and they're offering you fantastic festive offers. There's so much more to see up in SA. So I did mention earlier on that for our motivation today, we will be digging into finding purpose. Some of you are fortunate to find your purpose quite early in life, whether you are aided or you sort of just, bump into it or naturally just grew into it. And sometimes, you may have, assistance also from maybe parents or friends or mentors that you met along the way. But for some people, you try so many things before you hopefully found your value. And I say hopefully because sometimes you think you found it, but you haven't. Okay? So for our motivation today, we've been joined by an International Coaching Federation's Master Certified Coach. Hey, there's a backstory to this, okay? I'll share with you when we start conversation. Yeah, his name is Scofray Yaw Yeboah, okay? Scofray Yaw Yeboah, MCC CM. Did I get that right? Or how do you pronounce that? Fellow
management, yes.
Okay, nice. Your title is so big. I mean, it's so much. So the ICF, no, and only MCC, no.
Yeah, so ICF is the credentialing body, is the largest coaching body in the world that sort of sees through that coaches that are affiliate or are practicing coaching. You are first well trained, so you must first go to an ICF accredited coaching institute or training body. Then when you are done and you are out and you say, okay, I am a life coach. You see, from the coaching school when you come out, everybody is a life coach from a coaching school. Then from there you come to your niches. So that's how I come a transformation executive coach. So
transformation executive coach.
Okay. Just like when you are done with, people are done with accounting, people are done with School of Medicine. Okay. Then now they branch into their niches.
All right.
So then you will want to be called a credential coach.
Okay.
You are prepared, you gain the experience, you make the hours, then you start off with associate certified coach.
Okay.
From there you do I think 120 hours to be at ACC. Then you move on to 500 hours for professional certified coach. Then you peak to the crescendo of coaching called Master Certified Coach, and that is quite a journey.
That's the creme de la creme.
Yes.
That's the conclusion of all the matters.
Yes.
Wow. And that's some years of work and reading and research, right?
It takes a lot because even 120 hours of coaching doesn't come easy.
I bet.
500 hours of coaching is also not a fluke. Then imagine anything beyond 2,500 hours.
Right.
And the standard that ICF sets, that's what they call the golden standard of coaching, is the ICF.
I see.
It's no joke.
So for somebody who's wondering, what are we talking about? What do life coaches do? I mean, I see it in movies, I read about it online and all of that. I hear some friends who would say, "Oh, that's my life coach. That's my life coach." What do you do? What do you do? So
life coaches are people who are trained and experienced in that faculty of human capital development. So I'll use my space to say, so I hold a space for you to emerge for you to become aware, for you to explore, for you to expand, for you to deepen, for you to be able to dig deep into who you are the more than you ordinarily would have thought or than you ordinarily would have believed you are.
Okay.
And that is where questions are asked. You permit your coach to ask you questions that ordinarily on the street, ordinarily your mentor won't ask, ordinarily your advisor won't ask, ordinarily your consultant won't ask you. Because coaching is a space for co-creation of you, the client, your possibilities.
Right.
So you must have somebody who has gone through the training with the experience, so that whatever you bring for coaching,
right,
a single question sends you into epiphany or eureka moment. Go like, okay,
right.
And it is also the faculty of human character development that is backed by neuroscience.
Okay.
That when you sit with a coach, there are so many things going on in your body than just you may be thinking. And one of the niches I have is what we call the multiple brain integration techniques.
Okay.
Where we have learned and come to the understanding that you don't even have one brain. Apart from the head brain, you have the heart brain, cardioenterology, neurocardiology.
It's quite a complex.
No,
it's quite complex.
So when you sit with a coach, then I need an advice. I needed good.
Yeah.
We don't belittle all the supporting faculties of human, but in coaching, something else emerges. Because even though the questions are ongoing, we know that beyond the questions, something else is going on in your body.
Yeah.
So that's what we say your neurology. The neurons in your body are firing.
Right.
The term called neuroplasticity.
I see. So how do you find your clients? They come to you, or you identify and then you offer help?
You don't. So it is the mix of the two.
Right.
People who know that there's a space in time where they require the service of a coach, and that knowing, I will call the intuition sense, that knowing that at this point I don't need a consultant. At this point, it's not an advisor I'm looking for.
Right.
At this point, it's not just a mentor I'm looking for. I'm looking for a partner who can hold the space for my safety, my trusting, and my vulnerabilities, so I can be me.
Right.
Because it is in the being of the me, as we call it, that you expand.
Okay.
And like I said, because it is backed by neuroscience, that when a part of your making called the vagus nerve, whose sole job is to flip between three states: safety, threat, and danger. So when you go into coaching, it's a space where safety and trust is anchored. So you want to be that little girl once again. You want to be that little boy once again. And in that space of being these is when your creativity peaks.
Right.
It's when your compassion, your purpose, your love, all this one's peaks. It's when the drive to take action all peaks for you. So every great mind
has a life coach.
Yeah, of course.
Or has encountered a life coach along
Of
the way.
course.
Great. I mean, it's good that it's interesting that you mentioned purpose, because that will be the focus of our conversation. When it comes to conversation about finding purpose, life's purpose, it can sound very abstract. Because then the daunting question about where do I start, which one is it, does indeed everybody have a purpose? And is this purpose assigned, or is it, when I say assigned from creation, or we have to ascribe, we need to ascribe it to ourselves?
From my school of thought, or from where I come from, even in the coaching spectrum, I have one branch we call ontological coaching.
Okay.
Where we study your being.
Okay.
And in that being, we know no one is here by an accident. And so far as you are still breathing and you have life in you, there is a purpose to why you are here. So one of the things I ride by as a philosophy is every life is at stake. For me, that is why I do what I do. And if every life is at stake, or a life is at stake, then I, the coach, it is my quest to continually hold a space for whoever that comes to my space to say, I need your services to fashion out A, B, C, D.
Right.
So the subject matter of purpose, just observe the ant. Isn't there a reason why the ants are alive?
Absolutely.
Even the worm. Isn't there the worm that has no eyes but has got a system in
Only
place?
that the ants can be a nuisance when they bite you.
It is part of their it is part of their being to bite.
Yeah.
So to let you know maybe you are not in the space of safety. So they are living their purpose. Look at your dog. Look at your cat. Look at the horses, the rivers, the trees, the air we breathe, the sun that shines, the moon that comes up, the stars and everything. None of this is out of design. They are all in a design. And if all these are in design, what about you, the human being? That means you're also part of a design. And
how do you find that purpose? I mean, and again, is the purpose given to you right from creation, or you have to figure it out?
I like the thoughts that is coming through. That do you have to figure it out? Does it come to you and everything?
Yeah.
For example, how do you know you want to wee?
Oh well, biologically things stir up and then.
No, so let's use these natural biological sense to say, okay, if you know there's a point in time in the day, even in midnight, your body wakes you up to go and pee-pee. There's a time your body wakes you up to go and pee-pee. How do you know you are hungry? Your body stimulates you to know we need energy to get you to move. So now we are at a low range of the energy we require. So you want to put in food. It's the same way that we all at a particular point in time sense, feel, and experience ourselves that we are here more than just existing. We want to live. And it is in living that you want to say, okay, what specifically am I living for?
Right.
Then you live until you are dead. Then it's when you are buried, then your legacy get resurrected.
Right.
So you're able to scan life and ask yourself, what am I here for? Who am I for what I am here for? And it is in these questions that you are able. I think Saturday I was speaking somewhere and I said one of the mistakes we make is we misequate career to main purpose.
I was gonna come to that
because career is for survival. But there are few people who are in the pursuit of their purpose using the conduit called career, using the conduit called profession, using the conduit called vocation, using the conduit called anything you can use your hand to do technically.
Right.
So your purpose is what. So let me put it this way. When you look at your car, what is the purpose of the car you have?
I mean, to move it from one point to the other.
One point to the other.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a destination to go, what's the essence of the car? So a purpose is fundamentally what gets you to live a life that is worth it. So when you are no more here, your legacy is what lives on in the heart of others.
Okay, let's make it as simplistic as possible as well. So you have somebody who, same with the analogy of a vehicle, right? You have somebody who has so many interests and feels that they may be purpose. Somebody has interest in helping children with disabilities. Somebody has interest in, it's a very generous person, assisting people with medical needs, or, loves nature, loves plants, loves climate-related stuff. In the mix of all of that, how do you identify that this is what my purpose is, and this is, like you said, the vehicle to achieving that? And can one person have more than one purpose?
You can have more than one talent to serve a particular purpose.
You can have more than one talent.
You can have more than one talent to serve a particular purpose. That is why we call a certain gift ambidexterity. That means you have both the left-right axis to support you to achieve a certain purpose. What is very profound is when you know talent exists, then you know they are not there by accident. They are to put to use to achieve something, to support life.
Right.
So mostly what I ask people is, what are you either angry about in life, or what are you hungry about in life? These two things. What are you either angry about in life, or what are you either hungry about in life?
When you say angry about in life,
that, for instance, when you look at your environment, what makes you trip? This is not an ordinary way for things to be done.
Right.
And you wish you can do something about it. That is anger.
Okay.
Or you see kids, you see adults, you see sick people, you see babies, and you are hungry to want to do something that makes their life better.
Okay.
At least these two things, these two ways are what I ask questions. Some encounter their purpose having gone through a situation.
Right.
Not all of us go through situations and survive. So mostly I don't encourage that route. I rather encourage the route of testing what you are hungry for.
Right.
And what do you thirst for? And what sets you on the edge to want to do something about something. Because anger, hunger, thirst, they are all good emotions. They are all good things that are designed to support us.
It's interesting that you bring us to this point. Now, so if somebody, is it possible, right? And would you say it's normal to be angry, hungry, and what's the third one you used? Thirst for the same thing. If you have the same motive running through all three of it, then can you then say that that's my light bulb and that's my purpose?
I had the privilege as a leadership student to study global leaders, Asian days and contemporary. And one of them that I mostly used to cite an example is Florence Nightingale.
Right. The nurse?
The nurse. This was a woman who was born into influence and affluence. But there was something unique about healthcare that kept driving her anger. That people were not being cared for the right way.
Right.
So you see, she came from affluence, she came from influence. Yet, for her to be able to exercise and redefine and modernize nursing, she had to move away from that center of affluence, influence, and everything, and entered into the space. So she was at the Crimean War. And that was where she understood the nitty-gritties of healthcare from the nursing perspective. Wrote all the articles, wrote all the documentaries, did everything. So she was hungry to see lives saved. She was angry about how people who have gone to war, get wounded, get bruised,
were being
catered for, and was touched to see that nursing was like a field that had no respect, had no prestige, had nothing. So she stepped into that space of hunger, anger, and thirst to be on the quest that has brought nursing
to where it is
where it is today. And when she died was when it blossomed. The military and the UK government understood that, whoa, her works, her articles, the one that were not even in public domain yet, that got released. So that is the space that purpose comes from.
You know, sometimes you have conversation with people and they would, when you're talking about, you know, pursuing life purpose and all of that, some would, and correct me, you know, this is just feedback that I get from people. Some will say it's expensive. I have to go study this course or do that. Is finding purpose necessarily expensive? Is it supposed to be expensive?
So I like the way you put it. There is no purpose that is not valuable. If there is no value in that which you set yourself to be and explore, then it's not purpose. So let's bring it to our part of the world, we are a very hungry survivor people. And I'm not using hunger for the greater good. I'm using hunger for food and survival. We just want to exist.
What will sort us out today?
So that is it. So we all, a majority of us are in that float of space of just want to survive and exist. So we are only hungry for food. So that is how come the average African break through into business. The first thing they do is they want to buy cars. They want to build big mansions. They want to. Then in the reverse.
But what is wrong with buying a car?
But you see in the reverse.
Yeah.
They want the greater good of impact. So this is where the theory of whether it is expensive or is valuable comes in.
Right.
Because whatever is valuable to you first comes at a sacrifice. You know, when you pick diamond, I have family growth in Akwetia. When you pick diamond from the caves or whatever you find it.
Yeah.
Do you know it does not glitter?
Absolutely.
It's dull. It's dull. It's as nasty as rock, any rock, until it goes through polishing, goes through cutting. It get a bit chemicalized before it glitters. And not all of us wants to go through that process.
So you can't come to the full realization of purpose without these processes.
No.
Without the refinery.
The universe doesn't work like that. So even if earlier we were talking about the ant.
Yeah.
If the ant knows for them to build and all that, they have to know when the seasons are right, and sometimes
even
it is
risk
raining,
when they know that
it is raining, the bushfires and everything. They want to go through all that. I'm just talking about the ant.
Right.
Look at the eagle. The eagle will need to go through defeathering a certain time in the season before it grows all the feather back and everything. Why? Just to be able to soar.
A lot of people in our generation don't want to go through the refinery process, you know. You find people living a soft life, and then, you know, you find them doing some charity stuff here and there, in quotes, doing impact-related things here and there.
Haven't you read, especially during the COVID era to a certain spectrum, didn't you see a lot of the supposed celebs, billionaires committing suicide?
Oh, yeah, there were many cases like that.
A lot of them did it on the threshold that they noticed they were not living their purpose. So purpose is life. Purpose is living, not existing. So I have come across people who have achieved all there is, even corporate life and everything, and they sit in front of you and say, Coach, I have done all this, but there is something I sense and feel empty here. Or feel empty here. And I know by study and experience, the heart brain and the gut brain, what they are out there to support you to be. So you can cognitively get things done.
Right.
But when your heart does not belong there, when your gut is also not there, you are only existing. You are not living it. And so you may have everything, but the one who has got his purpose defined.
Right.
When you meet them, there is this sense of aura around them. All those who met Mother Teresa from Calcutta, they encountered something.
Right.
Those who had the reverence to sit with Nelson Mandela, they encountered something.
Right.
Those who had, like I mentioned, even Richard Branson, the founder and owner of Virgin. When you sit and encounter him, there is a way. I mean, somebody who virtually stammered, somebody who didn't yet look at what he's been able to achieve. He still spent time with his family, his grandchildren, and everything, because it is not so much about what we measure in the material sense, but it is the influence and the impact we make in our society. That is the core of purpose. Interesting.
I think what I would do was activate the phone lines briefly and see if our listeners out there may have questions about, you know, the subject. If you're having doubt about whether you are living or fulfilling purpose, if you're not too sure whether, you know, your current status is actually living in your purpose, and you want help from our life coach, Charlie, this one is free consultation, at least for today. There are two numbers you can call us on: 0559 242 717 and 0556 910 154. That's 0559 242 717 and 0556 910 154. Right after this, stay with us.
Be different. I be loud and bold. I know they blend it.
Born from a vibrant culture, I did dance to the beat of my own drum. I'll be the vibe.
In a world where everybody is a follow.
Easter weekend with a promise to live life at Peduasi Valley Resort. Begin the weekend with sumptuous Good Friday special buffet as you groove to live band music. Then on Saturday, it's time to splash away. Join the ultimate pool party at Peduasi Valley Resort. Live DJs spinning the best tunes, a bouncy castle, cotton candy, and your kids' favorite cartoon characters for extra fun. Plus delicious lunch and dinner buffet. On Easter Sunday and Monday, we celebrate the restoration with grand feasts fit for royals. Stay in sync with our classic room promos and relax with our soothing spa offers. All this and so much more at Peduasi Valley Resort this Easter weekend. For reservations and inquiries, call 0540 125 555 or 0540 125 554. Peduasi Valley Resort. Live life.
April Busumia, 1 year crow numa hudwinina, Bebrenoa, Ebeshia Wako, Ahinkrim, Aya Co Business Forum, Aya Co Business Forum, Ayo Mampeni, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Liswadimuna, or de Bama in Numan Kwahodo, any Sika home to tell him the fort to say, Sika Crabia Hodo, in Numa Gidia Cassie, any Ankra washing with Numase, I come on who are Dean Wadria Boom, now what to a dream after a JD, anything kind coho. Bra, na beka ekuku damwa. Ode nyumekwa kese ahodo bebre no ano. Afei abamu mpanimfo a wo hihye dwedie ho mmra. Ena ankrankra wo ye wonsa no nyuma. Mekire se dwabu yase. Ena Ghana adwedie ene ehum sikasem ebe ma ne homne so ankasa. Dwumadie yi ebe ba so 19th April 2025 ewo Empire Social Center anopa no nkron pepepe. Botaya eda dwumadie so ene the future of business, the role of the financial sector. So pesa obasa adwumadi ase a yentua sika bia o na emom fra 050-883-0035 eneya na yentwe wudi na jiwa kunya ansa na seja kwawo afi we die bibia wo pepo no so eno ane co business forum where business meets opportunity.
All right, thanks for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, 3FM 92.7, we'll be having conversations about, finding life's purpose. And our coach, Scofray, Yaw Yeboah. Did I get that right? Yeah, right. He's an ICF Master Certified Life Coach. And I got it right this time. And we've been talking about how to find your life purpose. Do you have questions about whether you are living your life purpose? Do you feel you're making money, you seem to be living life, but there's an emptiness in your heart and in your belly? And do you want to know how you can, satisfy or quench that burning desire? 0559-242-717 and 0556-910-154. I intend to keep this really short, but you did cite some examples about people who are living their purpose. I mean, notable people. How, if you are doing your own self-assessment, how do you know that? Because it's not everybody who would have the opportunity to have a life coaching session. But there are some people who may already be in their purpose without even knowing that they are there. And like you said, it comes with sacrifice. So sometimes you may even feel this thing is weighing on you, but that's actually your purpose. So how do you identify as a person, that I'm in my purpose or not?
So let me quickly point out, when you said like the weighing on you, every purpose you pursue will cost you something. And it is why a lot of the people also require a life coach, so that in that moment of weighing down, we support you to hold a part of it for you. Because when burnout, when depression, when all the stresses and all sets in, they can actually also steal and stifle the very purpose you have. So that is one key critical reason why those who are there, those who want to get there, those who can see that they require certain support, sign in for coaches. You see, I was 21 when I had gone through transformational training in faraway Achimberg.
Right.
And the trainers, then one of them, Betty Spru, happened to be my teacher in coaching school as well.
Okay.
When I scanned my life, then at a younger age, the family I come from, the challenges I was going through, aspiration to want to still be bigger. When I was done with that transformational training, then I knew that even though I'm coming from a very difficult orders of life, I'm destined for something greater than. And it was not a thought. It was not a thinking thing. It was what we call the felt sense. It grips you within your heart. It wrenches your guard. You go through goosebumps, and you know you are destined for something. So it's not a knowing that we do the 1 + 1 I know. That is how some of us, it came to us.
Right.
And the moment that occurred for me, I knew it was going to cost me a lot to rise to the zenith that I am today.
Right.
I was willing to pay certain prices to come to where I am today. So that is the first thing, one of the things that I always suggest to people, or I bring to people's attention, that purpose you want to pursue will cost you something. Are you prepared to go that mile, to go that journey, to go that far, to go that extent? And one of the things I keep promoting is organic growth. It's difficult to pursue, but it is worthy because of.
That's where this generation doesn't want to be.
It is worth it because, you see,
they say it takes time.
You can't fool.
They say that it's baby steps.
You can't fool
nature.
Let me use nature, but to bring it to the humans, you can't fool your being. Imagine a child that does not crawl but is willing to run. I just want to give you that scenario. The child fails to crawl, stand, take the first step, but is eager to run.
You break your leg.
Fine. You only don't even break your leg. You altered even the spine that is supposed to support your body. You alter even the spirit that is supposed to carry you through.
Right.
So you need to come to these spaces, meet people like us and others in this spheres of doing the things we do to let you know.
Let me just hold your thought. I'm particularly concerned about the state of mind of the younger generation, where they for lack of a better word, feel like life has to be lived in the fast pace. They want things and they want it now. They want growth and they want it now.
It's two things.
Yeah.
It's two things. Who gave birth to this generation?
We did.
Let's ask those questions. Who gave birth to this generation? The very generation we are belaboring, we think we are challenging. Who gave birth to them? Where have we been in our struggle, in our trying to survive, that God has to give birth to this kind of generation? So we need to sit and reflect rather. I don't hold brief for them, because after you are 18 years, you cannot blame your parents again. So I need to set the two balance and the perspectives.
Right.
The moment you turn 18 years and you are able to move to 24, 25 years, where the last brain in your body matures, which is your cephalic, your head brain. When the moment they are done, that is how come even by 24, 25, you are done with university.
Right.
The moment you hit that, you can never blame your parents again, because you have all that it takes to forge and form a different you. By the grace of God, even your body agrees that it can I don't want to use it can rewire, not hardwire, because we are wet beings, we are not hard beings.
Right.
But we need to reflect, where were we from whence these kids came into being?
You think that we're the root causes?
Mimi, do you know, you and I, if we come from very difficult trauma background,
it carries on too.
And we have kids, our kids had no input to that, carry the trauma. So let's take our time to reflect.
You think they're living a reflection?
But they are indeed our reflection. They are living our inadequacies. They are living our inadequacies.
Right.
And the studies are there to show, Mimi,
I'll come back to that. But whilst we save some bit of time, because we should be wrapping up soon, there's some messages that came through from listeners. This one says, "Hello, Miriam. My name is Phoebe. I've been battling on whether to resign from my current job or just persist. I feel like I've outgrown it and everything seems so stressful to deal with lately. I work as a teller at a bank. My options are limited. It's either I resign, stay at home, or apply elsewhere, or persist and break down every now and then, and I have lost interest completely. Please ask your guest what he should advise me to do." That's one. And the second says, "This conversation is very needed. I don't know when else I would hear things like this. Good job." Okay, right. So Phoebe wants to know, obviously she's at her wood end with the job, not because it's not paying well, but she's just lost it.
So the space Phoebe is in now, is the space for reinvention. She's at a place called the calling moment. There is a bigger call. So stuckness is a message to want you to reflect and expand and explore. So these are the moments where I will not advise, but I will encourage she speaks to a coach. The way you want to invest and sign up to go and do a master's program.
Right.
Be that with yourself and sign up coaching with a coach, because it is in coaching something else will emerge.
Do you feel that from what she has sent us that she's obviously not living purpose? I mean, this is somebody who says that
at the moment she if you read her text, so far she feels stuck.
Yes, she feels like sometimes she wants to resign, sometimes she's just barely surviving the day. I'm sure she's doing that because she needs to pay her bills.
So that I earlier have said that a lot of us are surviving, we are not living. A lot of us are existing, we are not living. And our careers are systemic defined. It is not purpose integrated. There is somebody else whose purpose sits right into banking and it works, and the person is thriving. If yours doesn't sit well in banking, and there is stuckness, stiffness, and like you said, and this may be having even a toll on her health. That is the extent to which not living your purpose can have on you. And out of that, you will have kids, and you transfer that to your kids without knowing. So I will just rather invite her to seek out for a coach, to sit down with her, to support her, to begin to, you see the onion,
yes,
you begin to peel, and the deeper you peel, the deeper the scent, the aroma that comes. And that is what I will suggest to her to seek for, because stuckness are messages, stiffness are messages. Like I said, sometimes that is how we respond to our higher calling. I'm not talking about ministry, I'm not talking about, you see, the moment you hear calling,
exactly,
we quickly switch to,
I was going to clarify that we're not talking about being anointed with olive oil.
And even that, if you read the fivefold ministry, there is the one called the other giftings. So those of us in what we do, in media, whatever, it could be your other gifting. So it's not even that box kind of by force sit on a pulpit.
Exactly.
So it is mission critical for her and anybody who is in that space. The first point of all I would say is speak to a coach.
Right.
Even if you can't afford all, sit. And the beautiful thing about this, our human beingness, is that when you make them feel you put premium on them, they show up for you.
Right.
If you sell yourself cheap, your body is angry with you because they deserve better, and you are boxing them into cheapness. We
interesting.
We are a beautiful being than we've been raised and programmed to think. Incredible. So I will encourage anyone there are we started with barely 12 coaches. We are almost about 50-something coaches in the International Coaching Federation Ghana chapter. Speak to coaches. Just speak to them and see what we emerge. I've had people in different careers anywhere in the world that I have served sit before me, and incredibly they birth themselves anew, literally. And when that epiphany or eureka moment occurs, they will say, Coach, I glow. And what is so beautiful is that indeed they do glow. I have somebody who's like, what did you do to my wife? There's
a new her.
There's something else.
Yeah.
Some will say, if I look, even my hair follicle are going healthier. This is the beauty coaching brings to the entire humanity.
Interesting. I mean, whilst we wrap up, right? Somebody would also want to wonder, is there a timeline that one ought to have found their purpose? And I ask that because, some people may not find their purpose until very late in life. Some may find it early enough. You see all these motivational messages on Instagram and TikTok and what talking about, and this successful person founded this at this time, became this at that time. So then you wonder,
is it too late?
Is it too late?
Is it
too early? Yeah, exactly. If somebody is listening to us, it's probably in the 70s and like you said, has only thrived, but not really lived. And they're still feeling that burning desire.
What is more disastrous is when you don't ever find your purpose until your deathbed. That is what is more disastrous. That is what is more pathetic. That is what is, and if you speak to doctors and nurses who sit by people who transition, the research says that the greatest regret every human being has at that moment is not living their purpose, not living for them, not being the best they can be. Where that moment there is nothing you can do. Imagine transitioning period where you still have grief, you still have pain, you still have brokenness. Even that moment where you are passing, you have brokenness because you didn't live your life. So for me, it is not about age and the timing. It is about you being able, if you have the opportunity hearing my voice this afternoon, it's an opportunity for you to begin to. So you don't go through all the wilderness, the desert moment, because not all of us will survive the desert moment.
Yeah.
That is how come you don't want to take poison before you want to go to the hospital and say, I'm here to check up. But in the year, you want to do a 1 year, at least a checkup.
Absolutely.
This is all how. So age for me, in as much as it's not just a number, it is also not what I'll put a cap on.
Right.
I've coached people at 60, and that was when something opened up for them. And a lot of the times, your earlier experience comes handy when that purpose is found.
Right.
I've coached 28-year-olds after their masters, and they are flying virtually. But I don't need to compare the two.
Yeah.
Different areas, different time, differences, different callings. And for me as a coach, I have never compared even sessions. That same person, the 10 sessions, I have never compared sessions.
Right.
Because every session and what emerges, and every human being and what shows up for them.
Interesting. So who coaches the life coach?
I have mentors.
You have mentors?
Yes, I have mentors. I do also. So that is one of the
So you
ways.
also have a life coach?
Of course.
Right.
I have mentors. I have coaches. I have people who sort of are my accountability partners. We sit. What is going on in your life? What is showing up? Where do you have stuckness? There's a client you are coaching that you need certain insight. You go back to a supervisor. So every coach with his or her sword also has got a coach, a mentor. And in coaching, when we say mentor, it's not like the way people advise you on the street. No.
Right.
Your mentor will mentor you through coaching skills. So it's not just the usual come and receive advice and go. No. Because so that you can own the situation that comes up for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I can't thank you enough. I've really learned a lot. I'm sure that our listeners do appreciate your time as well.
Humble.
How do people find you on socials?
Just Scofray and Yaw Yeboah from YouTube, LinkedIn.
Scofray and Yaw Yeboah. Okay.
LinkedIn gives you the professional bio. The other socials gives you how we float in between. I love my life. I love what I do. And for me, this is a quest for me. So if you are an executive, if you are a leader, if you are a business person, if you feel stuck, if you want to unstuck, if you want to expand, if you want to see yourself you've never experienced before,
link up. All right, guys. So that's Scofray and Yaw Yeboah giving us an awakening that we can be far better than we are, and indeed we can be. Sometimes when you discover things about yourself, it either makes you very confident or it can make you very timid. But I do hope that whatever you discover about yourself make you more confident and more daring to go after your life's purpose. 3FM Drive, it is right here on 3FM 92.7. We're going all the way till 7. Then touch your dial.